Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Sports Cage for Saskatchewan Lotteries. Thank you for making some time, Sask Lotteries. We know one of the $75,000 Rider Scratch tickets has been won. One is still out there, and all the big prizes, I should say the big prizes. The Rider tickets, season tickets for 10 years, the suites. Support local sport, culture, and recreation with Saskatchewan Lotteries and the Rider Scratch ticket. Curtis is with me today. We got guests. We got 3 hours. We love when you are messaging us. 936-6262, 306-936-6262. Heck, if you want to call away. 1-866-767-0620. Prairieland Rentals text line. Prairieland Rentals. Talked to somebody on the weekend. They had to go by there looking to rent a few things for a project they got in the backyard coming up. Also, Husqvarna dealer, where they have the robotic lawn mowers or zero turns or push mowers, anything lawn and garden. You get a warranty, you get to deal with the owner. 600 Albert Street. Rob Vanstone's going to be in from the Riders, Rider historian. He'll be with us for most of the first hour. He's going to come in about 8 minutes' time. We are going to have Pump Jack Cathedral trivia today. Okay, people, it's coming up in hour one. If we don't get a correct answer, maybe we'll push it to hour two. Or do we take it to $200? That's going to be Curtis's call. We're going to let Curtis make that call. But in hour one, we are playing for $150 at Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. 13th and Albert, great place to go before a game or after a game. Arash Madani in hour two. Soccer fans, plug your ears if you've taped the game. We're going to talk about the World Cup. I'm actually going to talk about that in a few moments here. How about Carter Beck? Cardiff, Saskatchewan, taken in the first round of the Major League Baseball draft. Carter Beck is planning to join us at 4:30 from Cardiff, Saskatchewan, home of the Red Devils, now home of Carter Beck, Major League prospect. Glen Suitor in hour three, and a whole lot more. What a show. It's good to be back. Good. Tegan yesterday was in after the Rider game. We can start there. I'm reading some of the messages from yesterday, so I don't want to regurgitate them. People are getting tough on Mr. Hale kicking the ball. I thought to myself today, I'm going to go on the Sports Cage. I have it in my notes that he missed the field goal and the extra point. And I'm saying, I don't want to go down this path again. I don't want to be like last year. So if you want to talk about it, I'll read it. 936-6262. I'm not going there yet. I'm not that worried about it.
You know, I was even talking about it a little bit too.
Maybe I should be.
Where it's like, everyone's like, will it cost us a game? Has it cost us a game yet? I mean, even when we had kind of issues with Brett Lawler last year, like it ultimately never costed us a game during the season. So no harm, no foul, right?
Mm-hmm. I didn't get to go to the game because I was doing the Country Thunder thing. By the way, I think Tegan and you said clutch performer yesterday to all the medics and everyone working out there. Like it was so hot and it needed the heat to dry things up. But then the bugs.
Ooh.
If you're a bat,
I got a lot of bug bites.
If you're a bat or a dragonfly, I get mosquitoes are great for you. What else do mosquitoes do? Curtis, can you look that up? What are mosquitoes good for?
Malaria.
The bugs got bad. but it was hot. And it was just, you just had to resign yourself to the fact, listen, I'm getting sweaty. I got bug spray on. I got more bug spray on, possibly sunscreen, although I don't use a lot of sunscreen. But it just was, and people were taking it all in. I didn't see any tomfoolery. Maybe it was because it was too hot. Again, I wasn't in Gen Pop, but all the St. John, I don't know, is it St. John's ambulance or just all the medics that were out there and everyone taking care of people? Good on you.
Shout out. Yeah, mosquitoes are vital ecological contributors, serving as massive food source for fish, amphibians, birds, and bats.
Yeah. So I guess people are eating them. They are
My
so
food
annoying.
eats them.
Ed's saying mosquitoes serve no real purpose in the food chain. I guess the fish need them, Ed. And if you're an angler, then you would like the fish.
You know who's an angler?
The mosquitoes.
You know who's a real angler?
Rob Vanstone?
Suitor. Suitor loves to fish.
But Suits lives in Vancouver, and I don't think there'd be many mosquitoes out there. Correct me if I'm wrong. I was in Montana. That's one place we love to go. There's no bugs. There's no mosquitoes. But there's lots of fishing. Tons of fishing. So somebody in the fishing world... come at us here. 936-6262. On places where they have no mosquitoes, what are the fish eating? Just regular bugs then? They're annoying.
The fish eat what fish eat, man. Fish food.
Soccer. Also, just happened. Big upset. France is out. Spain advancing. Spain will take on the winner of Argentina and England, which is played tomorrow. Let's go.
Put this in hockey terms for us, Barney. How big is this upset?
No, not that big. Who was in the? I was going to say, it's like Vegas sweeping Colorado-ish. That's just quickly off the top of my head. Don't yell at me. But something maybe even a little bit deeper than that. Ottawa? No. That's... Anyway.
You think about it for a little bit. Let it simmer.
England and Argentina will be an interesting watch tomorrow. I did sprinkle on this game. I took the tie because that's what I took the other day, and I hit it. So I didn't win, but luckily it was just like a little bit of... just a little sprinkle, so all good. I'll be back at it tomorrow. Speaking of sprinkling, Rider game, some people later in the week, and I know we're on a bye week here, 936-6262. Did anybody, I know Benny sent in a couple of his, the Rochdale Rocket, he calls himself. He sent in a couple of his tickets. He hit one of them, and the other one not so much. He took the under in the Calgary and Montreal game, which they ended up scoring like close to 70 points. What was it? So that's a tough under to take. Yeah, 67 points were scored in that game. But all bets are off. My little segment I get to do in the pregame show, I said, and yeah, I'm kind of Barry Horowitz, a little bit pat on the back style here, but I said under, which the under clean, free and clear. I said Rider money line. Now I wish I would have went Rider points because they spanked them. I said Del Duncan Busby anytime touchdown. Didn't get that one. But I last minute put KSB anytime touchdown. And then the one that I think I was most proud about, anytime defensive touchdown Riders.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. And then Jake Dolagala under 260 passing yards. I feel like I should have had a balaclava on when I placed that one because that was always happening. There was no way Jake Dolagala was coming in and throwing 260 passes. At least, maybe if you count warm-ups and stuff to the other team.
Yeah, and then there was also the big chance that Trey Ford was going to be put in at one point or another.
Exactly.
I was kind of surprised that we didn't see more of Trey Ford.
There was a point at the end of the game, we'll get into this more with Rob Vanstone, where they did put in Trey Ford, and they were already out of it. And I'm like, Trey Ford's a good teammate. Trey Ford's a good character guy. Because some guys would have went, you know what, pound sand. I'm not going in. I've been standing here 50 degrees at field level. And you want to put me in now in garbage time when you could have played me? I've had success against these guys. Trey Ford's a good dude. Corey Mace is 5-0 against the Tiger Cats all time. Didn't know that stat going in. He was 4-0. Now he's 5-0. That would have been good to know. But nonetheless.
That's actually a pretty fun little stat there.
Heck of a day in Sprinkletown. On that right. You know where I watched the Rider game?
Where?
Craven Motor Inn.
Oh.
We went across the street. And we were going to watch it at lovely site by Flynn, Simesy and the boys, and Drew had a great set. But there were a lot of people in there who didn't want to kind of, let their clients have seats. And I'm like, well, let's just shoot across. Maybe watch the first half at the Craven Motor Inn. Never been there. Peeked my head in there once. Walk in, Vilts to the left.
Ooh.
Classic bar with the old... They open it up and they got the bottled beer in there and everything. Two little deep fryers, buzzing, beef jerky, no hickory sticks, which I was surprised with. I even asked for them. They're selling darts. They didn't even have them underneath a cloth or anything. They're just wide out in the open, like old school, how it should be. But yeah, it was a great time. Played some tunes in there. There was some locals watching the game. And we were just leaving and they start firing up the steak pit. And I'm like, well, if we would have known, we could have had a T-bone or a sirloin while watching this game. Yeah, but I felt like I was right in the mixer in Sasky, watching it at the Craven Motor Inn, which is a great small town bar. And then all the talk going in, well, Rider defense, Rider turnovers, we haven't been getting them. And then they go and mop them basically on the defensive side. Probably not the game Trevor Harris would have wanted, but Trevor Harris has a lot of credits in the bin. Trevor Harris can have the odd game where he doesn't throw it around the yard and all that. He finished with 211 yards, 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. So, not the greatest.
That's par, I suppose. 2 tutties,
Yeah.
2 interceptions, but in Trevor Harris standards, that's not great.
I was watching the game with our friend, co-host once in a while on here. He's hoping to get back, DA. And Tommy Stevens was converting third downs because he's just a unit, T-unit, as my son calls him. And DA goes, I hope he plays for us for the next 10 years and just does this. Maybe even more. Like, he could have a long career if he just wants to do this, which I think he's fine. He gets excited. It's not easy. It's not easy work. He makes it look easy, but it's not easy work.
Yeah, well, even after the Grey Cup on the field and talking to all the different players there, I talked to Tommy Stevens after the game, and he said he wanted to be a Rider for life. So if that comment stands,
Sign him up.
Sign him up. We'd take him.
First ever 10-year CFL contract. Tommy Stevens. Can you just, what we need from you is to fall forward for 2-3 yards for 10 years.
He can do a lot more than that, though.
I know he can.
At the end, he was breaking through there.
And then he's going to start. He's going to start throwing the ball at some point. I feel they're going to have some sort of package in where he is going to start throwing the ball. Just loving it. Candy is in the house. Rob Vanstone just walked in. Let's go to break here. And when we come back, Candy and Rob are going to join us. It is the Sports Cage, streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM. All right, we're back for Saskatchewan Lotteries. Rider scratch ticket, $75,000 out there. Season tickets for 10 years. Still out there. Grab your ticket at your Lotto Spot retailer. Joining me in studio, Rider historian. He's been doing this throughout the season on Tuesdays. We absolutely love it. Today, he's in studio with his dog Candy, Rob Vanstone. Bye week for you. What does that mean?
Lots of time with Candy, as you can see by her residency here this afternoon. It's a good opportunity I'm still working on stories during the week, trying to have something up on Riderville.com every day, but it's a chance to dive into projects a bit. I've been trying to put all the rider individual and team stats from every game in team history onto a spreadsheet. So, for example, on Sunday, Hamilton's net offense wasn't especially high, so I was able to go through that spreadsheet and say, okay, last time the Riders allowed fewer yards than this was. That type of thing. Instead of going through stat sheet after stat sheet after stat sheet, year after year after year, scrolling, I want to have it all in one Excel spreadsheet. So that's my kind of ambition.
When was the last time the Riders let that many points?
Montreal was here last year, and I think it was August 2nd, and Riders won handily that day, and Montreal's net offense was in the. I think I was researching passing yards, and it was Hamilton's passing yards was the fewest the Riders had allowed since Montreal was here last year.
169?
Or so since the Riders, 169. That's what it was. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
No, since the Riders were in Montreal last year.
Okay.
I apologize. Sorry. Nice guest. I'm on top of things. It's the heat.
That's what I want to get to next.
That's why I need the spreadsheet so I can actually scroll through it and provide a credible answer.
It was around 50. We both know. You go to practice some days. It's hot down there. If anyone's ever ran around playing soccer or adult flag football league on there, it's hot on that field. It was pushing 50 or just over 50. What's the hottest game you remember in Regina, the Riders playing?
Well, the hottest one ever, I don't remember because amazingly it predates me. It was August 25th, 1952, and Calgary was here, and it was 95 Fahrenheit, which worked out to 35 Celsius, and that's exactly what the official temperature was on Sunday. So that was a tie this past week for the hottest game in Rider history. There's a couple of 34s, there's a couple of 33s, and there's a 32. And but yeah, I was a little spoiled by that one because I was in the press box, and I don't remember a real scorcher in the stands. And I was lucky because I always sat in section 204 on the west side in the upper deck. So even when it was just blistering out, we were safely protected upstairs. So I remember really cold ones, but the canopy on the upper deck was always a nice shield on those scorchers.
I remember early 2000s. We were in town playing in they used to have a massive touch football tournament here. It was a great chance to party on Labor Day long weekend. It's kind of how I met my wife, actually.
Oh, wow.
But we sat at Old Taylor Field on the north end zone, the bleacher-ish kind of seats, and it was so hot. And we had, it was tarps off season. And it was back in the big baggy cargo shorts days that didn't breathe. And it was...
I think that's an Instagram post waiting to happen.
That's the hottest game I remember being at. Coldest would have been... It was right when I moved to Regina-ish. So it would have been that 2008... When did they play BC in the playoffs?
BC in the playoffs was 2018.
No, it was...
2008.
2008.
Yeah.
That's the coldest I remember being at Taylor Field.
Yeah, I remember mine was late October of 1991, and BC was here, and BC won 36-5, and before the game that morning, I'd gone to pick out a Scottish Terrier, and so the next day I went and actually picked up Oscar the Scottish Terrier from Marg Moran McQuinn, a wonderful breeder in Regina, and that's that football game. It was so absolutely cold. I remember. Figuring I'd get a break and just go into the washrooms were always really toasty back then. Yeah. So the game was out of hand. So I thought, I'm just going to take 10 minutes away from this and go warm myself up. And you couldn't get into the bathroom because people were it was just clogged with humanity.
Yeah.
And
I think I remember that in that 2008 game.
Oh,
people were just running to warm up.
The worst one was covering high school football, a provincial championship game a few years ago at Libel Field. And it was so cold, and then I'm standing on the field, and they're giving gold and silver medalists to all the finalists and all the trainers and all the coaches, and I am so cold and I'm frozen. And I remember interviewing the coach, and my hand I was using a digital recorder because I just didn't. There was no chance of writing anything down, and my hand was just changing color as I was holding it out there. And it's not very often you think, okay, give us nice short quotes, but it was just like, yes or no answer, please. And it's same with the.
And then you're worried about the batteries going.
My own batteries at this age. And it was the most bitterly cold I've ever been covering a sporting event.
How cold was the huddle up in Saskatchewan games? I remember I wasn't here, but I remember it being cold.
It was a wind issue that day.
Okay.
They almost had to postpone the kickoff because the wind. The temporary bleachers were built to, I think, withstand.
That's a sketchy looking bleacher. We have a picture of that.
Oh
to this
my
day.
goodness! It was built, I think, of the specifications where it could withstand a wind up to 80, and they weren't sure if the wind was going to exceed 80. So I remember there was this just mass of people standing outside the gates, and they wouldn't let anybody in because they didn't know if people could actually go up to the upper reaches of the temporary bleachers. So finally, they let everybody in, and my assignment for that day for the Lear Post was just roam the building or roam the stands and do fan stories. So I thought, hey, let's go to the top row of these temporary bleachers. And I got up there. I was so cold, and I had just a normal Bic pen, and it was so cold that the ink kind of froze in the pen, and so I kind of had to scratch my notes into the notebook.
Oh, yeah.
And then I remember holding the notebook up to kind of the light to see where the indentations were.
Should have got a piece of wood, piece of soft
no
wood.
kidding. It was absolutely unbearable, and that was probably the coldest I've ever been next to that fateful high school football game.
Gloria Evans was in just a little bit ago, and she was at the game, and I said, crowd, and she said a lot of people she thinks they just set up camp somewhere on the west side. And then as the sun started to go, then they shifted over to the east side on Sunday. Is that what you saw? People just
I really wasn't paying
survival rate.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened. I mean, it was just you're sitting in the sun. That is such a.
That's a lot to ask.
Yeah.
It's like going to a college. People ever go to a college game? Last year we took our group of clients down to Austin to watch Texas play Archie Manning, and it was an afternoon game, and you could tell by the forecast it was going to be really hot. And I remember going to a game at Sun Devil Stadium years ago in Tempe in September, and it being hot, Phoenix. So I was telling everyone, hey, just so you know, it's going to be hot. So take a wet cloth or try and find shade or sit somewhere else. And most people did, but some people couldn't. And they were like, yeah, it was 34, 35 sitting in the heat trying to watch it. And college games are like 4 hours long. So I don't think a lot of them lasted. Okay, but back to this game. I wanted to ask about Tommy Stevens. And before you came on, I'm watching with our friend DA at the Craven Motor Inn on Sunday, watching the game. And he goes, can we just sign him for like 10 years and just get him to do this?
He wouldn't object. He says he wants to finish his career here.
But we knew what we had last year. We won the Grey Cup, and he was an integral part. And what did he get stopped once last year? Maybe twice. But what he's doing this year, Rob, I don't know if you got any stats or any data behind that. I just feel like this, however many games in, he is rolling with that position.
Well, if you go back to the Grey Cup, he's got 7 touchdowns in his last 6 games. And, he rushed for 5 touchdowns last year. He's already got 5 this year. And there hasn't been a third down conversion that he's missed yet. And usually he adds a nice gratuity of 25 to 30% more yardage than you want there. So it's really and his role is really expanding. Like you're seeing it is kind of He's not just for short yardage situations anymore. I mean, there's a strategic element beyond that. He's really forcing the issue, and with him in there and a running back in there, the running back is blocking for the quarterback. That's
what Curtis was basically just talking about. Yeah. And then speaking of stopping third down, we talked about it last week, Jackson Ford again. Yeah,
twice, 2 in a row. And I mean, there's somebody that's always been an aggressive player, and he's wading into a land in those situations where people are conventionally 50, 60, 100 pounds
Yeah.
heavier than him and making huge impacts. CJ Rivas was really good at that last year. CJ Rivas in short yardage situations was terrific. And here's another player who's not one of those behemoths in the trenches, 2 games in a row making an impact. And with him in there starting at safety, I think we're seeing a real breakout year for Jackson Ford.
We had most receiving yards by a Rough Rider after 5 games. I think we talked about this last week too. Ray Algard, Hugh Campbell, Naaman Roosevelt. Forgot about him. Joey Walters, and then Keyshawn Johnson, and now Kean Schaefer Baker.
Getting in there, yeah. So this is getting interesting. You look at some of the numbers. I haven't done the extrapolations yet. I'll have to get my wonderful big pen out and do some calculations. I don't even know if I can still do manual math. That was like 1979 I last did that, but thanks to the wonders of ink, I'm going to see if I can figure out what they're on pace for in terms of especially yardage, because Joey Walters' record is 1,715 receiving yards, his franchise record in 1981, and that was in 16 games. Teams play 18 now, and I think that record, 45 years in the books, might be challenged this year.
Hey, Curtis, I don't know if you got some B-roll to run here in the defensive turnovers or touchdowns, but let's just go to that and throw up some of it. If this interception, and that's another thing that you had, Josh, most interception yards in a season by Rough Rider linebacker. Josh Woods is sitting second.
Yeah, so quickly. Eddie Lowe had 130 in 1990, and Josh Woods has returns of 19 and 107 this year. And so one more pick and even a nominal return, and that record is, if it is a record, I mean, you don't find it in any books anywhere, but it's a pretty cool little stat. This is a 235-pounder taken off on a nice sprint, and Antoine Brooks Jr. with a key block there as well, and Antoine Brooks had an 85-yard interception return touchdown last year, and Tavon Campbell had 112. So you're talking 3 guys on the same defense who have gone off on a marathon touchdown sprint.
How convenient was it that there was all this talk last week about the defense and takeaways and points that the defense given up, and then they go and do this?
Yeah. What
was it, 20 or 28 points off turnovers we scored?
I think it was 20. It was inevitable. There had been so many close calls with interceptions. Marcus Sales had been close, and Tavon Campbell had been close. It was just a matter of time before I think that pendulum swung, and it certainly did at an opportune time. Once, on the strength of Hamilton had the football for almost 12 minutes in the fourth quarter. Explain this. This is one of the most anomalous stats I've ever seen. Hamilton had the ball for, I think, 11:54 out of 15 minutes in the fourth quarter. So you would think that would lend itself to a lot of points.
Yeah.
And it did. Riders scored all 20 points in the fourth quarter, even though Hamilton had the ball for almost 12 of the 15 minutes.
Wow.
Like, that is about as wild a stat as I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But Hamilton just kept getting the ball back and having longer drives, which was fine with the Riders because they were happy to see the Hamilton move 5, 6, 7 yards. And then you get the Josh Woods return, you get the Marcus Sales fumble return.
Yeah.
And then as a 1-play, 1-yard touchdown drive, out comes the offense. It's I have, in all my years of stats obsession, I've never seen a less probable stat than time of possession compared to points scored. You would think there'd be more of a correlation between 11:54 time of possession and 20 points scored for the team that actually had the football. These are the things that fascinate me. What a engaging guest.
Have you, or were you surprised we didn't see Trey Ford earlier?
A little bit. Trey Ford's always played pretty well against the Rough Riders too, and has played pretty well at Mosaic Stadium. Yeah. And he's such a puzzle for, especially as a change of pace quarterback. If you've been preparing for Jake Dolegala or Bo Levi Mitchell or whatever, that's a tendency breaker. So I would, and it's with the Hamilton offense struggling as it was, that surprised me a bit. But I think Jake Dolegala needed a lot more help than he was getting. There were the fumbles, there were drop passes, there were penalties. Jake will be Jake. I read a quote where he said, "If I execute, we'll be fine." And Jake's put a lot of the onus on himself, but I think there's a lot of assistance that he could have received from his teammates that he didn't get.
That play right there, that if you're watching the stream at sportscage.com to our YouTube channel or TV, it's like Tavon Campbell almost baits him to throw this to Kenny Lawler on the wideout. Like, he lets him have a little bit of a release, and I could be totally off here, but it's almost like he knows that he has the speed and then the jump to get there and knock that down. I thought that just a little thing of beauty there from the veteran cornerback of the Riders. We are getting some text messages here on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, Rob. I don't want to get into the kicking thing yet. I feel like, man, we are hard on quarterbacks here. We can be hard on coaches, and we're definitely hard on kickers. Alex Hale missed a convert and a field goal as well. Somebody just texted in backing up Hale and saying, didn't we want to run Luca Conji out of town in his first year? Can you ask Mr. Vanstone that?
Luca Conji's first year was pretty efficient. There was never an issue that I can recall with him that year. Feel free to refresh my memory if I'm in error. But Luca was a draft choice in 2006 after Paul McCallum had signed with BC as a free agent, and I think Luca actually did the punting that year too. And I think after Luca there was Chris Milo, and there was a bit of flux in the kicking situation pre Brett Lothar, and I mean, a year ago, I remember sitting in this very studio, and the Brett Lothar issue was being raised. How did that season turn out? And
nice ring, got a nice ring out of it.
And the kicker, who people were commenting on last year, how is he doing this year? So, it was 38-7.
I know.
Why are people citing this one area that they feel could be an improvement? Okay, add the field goal and the convert, and the Riders are over 40. It's still a lopsided game. If last year isn't instructive, I don't know what else I can say.
Benny says, I talked about him earlier and his Sports Select tickets that he sends us in. He had a couple of nice hits, one missed on the weekend, but he says Tommy Stevens is the 2019 Strevler, no doubt. How would have Chris's CFL career have turned out if he had stayed? Asked Mr. Vanstone. I know it's hard to say, but
it's a hypothetical.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty cool career as it was. And I don't think Chris Strevler is done being associated with the Canadian Football League. Post CFL, he's become a really interesting analyst. I think he helped kind of create a bit of a template that is now being followed here with Tommy Stevens. Players of comparable impact, both really interesting personalities, and there's a bit of a buzz when they walk into the game. It's onto the field. It's not your perfunctory quarterback sneak. It's what might happen.
Yeah,
that's beyond what you might expect. And I remember Chris Strevler coming in as a short yardage quarterback and throwing a touchdown pass to Weston Dressler at one point. And
I think that's coming.
You wonder and I don't have any advanced knowledge of this, but you just wonder. You're seeing, I think, a bit more. You're seeing the role of Tommy Stevens expanding quite a bit, he threw a touchdown pass with the Calgary Stampeders a few years back.
I've seen you walking around the stadium though with the play band on your wrist, so I think you do.
That's just my alert bracelet. I'm getting old.
One of the old school ones, medical alert bracelets. We got another. This Trevor's kind of. I'm not complaining by any means. I'm just maybe a little bit surprised as a casual fan too. With Trevor here, I thought we were going to maybe see a little bit of Jack Cohn in the game.
I was wondering. when do you put him in? The Riders only had the ball for 3 minutes, right?
Very good point.
I don't think there was. I think there certainly would have been an opportunity if it was your typical fourth quarter in a game where there's a considerable disparity, but there really wasn't. Tommy closed out the game, and that pretty much took care of things. And the circumstances have been different. I'm sure you would have seen Jack in there, but there really weren't many opportunities for anybody on offense to do much except bask in the victory.
We talked about him last week, and anybody that knows the story, and of course Rider fans, you got to be gutted for Sexton and seeing that.
It's tough. I mean, you see Bo the week before,
yes,
and all he's meant to the game. And Matthew Sexton, it's such a different story. I mean, he's 29 in October and has done so much to try and get himself into this situation in pro football. 5 NFL teams, a bunch of leagues, and then when he gets his chance and the lights go on, great debut on Broadway. That punt return for a touchdown in Ottawa, and then 32 and 27-yard punt returns in the first half, 3 for 77 in total, 38-yard kickoff return to begin the third quarter, and that's where he got hurt. And that was really, really tough. Mm-hmm. And you could see by the reaction of the players, and Corey Mace was holding his hand, just how quickly he has become a really popular player here. And you could see that whole family aspect of the team really rallying in support of Matthew Sexton. But that one really... Yeah. You never want to see anybody get injured, but just he finally gets this chance, and he's absolutely crushing it. Mm. And then you see this, and what a terrific! I had a lovely chat with him last week. We just had a nice kind of informal conversation. What a great young man!
Yeah.
That'll serve him well long beyond football.
Yeah. Rob Vanstone, Rider historian, is joining us here on the Sports Cage on this Tuesday for Saskatchewan Riders. Welcome back. Rob Vanstone, Rider historian, joining us. Anyone watching on the YouTube stream, we did kind of get the boot there for a quick moment, but then we were allowed back. It's like getting kicked out of class in school, which I did a lot.
I did that.
Yeah.
Well,
I was desk in the hallway guy, and I was like, it was kind of embarrassing, but then after a while, just who cares?
Yeah, for some reason, throwing erasers at a classmate in grade 12 accounting didn't go over well with the teacher.
Erasers. Kids are like, what's that?
No kidding.
What's an eraser? It's a chalkboard. You were cleaning the erasers. Oh, yeah, whatever. Rob's back with us. Bye week for the Riders. Anything else last week in the league kind of jump out at you? Interested? The one thing that I thought was interesting, and I think Benny the Rochdale Rocket will contest, was the amount of points that were put up in Montreal between Calgary and Montreal. It's 67. I didn't watch that game, but just the other games throughout the week. I was surprised too. Toronto, I had Toronto beating Winnipeg in Winnipeg with Drew Brown starting. That didn't happen.
Yeah, my predictions are pretty dismal traditionally. Anyways, I am really intrigued by what Tyson Philpott's doing in Montreal. If he can stay healthy, I mean, he's already got stats that would be good for an entire season. So, we've talked a lot about, receivers around the league and the start Kean Schaefer-Baker has had, and Samuel Emelis and Tyson Philpott and, Keandre Smith. The caliber of Canadian receivers is so exceptional. It's to the point where you almost don't have to say Canadian receiver because it just doesn't. There's no point in applying a nationality to it. It's they're just of that caliber.
Are we getting close to deepest Canadian receiver CFL ever? Are we getting close to that?
I've thought about that a bit. I remember. I wonder if there's a bit of recency bias there.
For sure.
I watched Jeff Fairholm and Ray Elgard on the same team with James Ellingson as a backup, who went to Ottawa and subsequently caught 9 touchdown passes in the same season. Winnipeg had Joe Poplawski and Rick House. Whit Tucker with Ottawa once upon a time. There's Jim Young with BC. It's certainly a great crop of Canadian receivers now. But I look at even at the early '90s when we've got you got Fairholm, you got Elgard, you got Dave Sapunjas in Calgary, Gerald Wilcox. Going back before that a bit, Tony Gabriel. Peter Della Riva. So this is as good a crop of Canadian receivers as there's ever been. I would have to really dive into it to state with some confidence that it's the best, because there was a real golden age of homegrown receivers.
Speaking of golden ages, I want to take you down another path here. I don't know if you watched it. I did. UFC on Saturday. First off, I am not UFC guy.
I can't spell UFC.
If you want to take me back to, UFC 1, UFC 2, like Hoist Gracie, Ken Shamrock, that whole...
Ken Shamrock was a wrestler. That one resonates.
It lasted 1:09. Conor McGregor, he does the jump kick. Looks like he tweaked something in his knee. What is he, 37, 38, 37? When you get to that age, you could be out for a skate or out for a run, and it's easily to tweak some sort of thing.
Trust me, I'm 62 and I rode my bike 62 kilometers on Saturday.
In that heat?
Yeah.
You're crazy. What time did you start?
I started on Thursday. I went for 4 hours and 50 some minutes and did 62K with only stops for water. As soon as you stop, the heat gotcha. Oh. When you're riding, it's fine because you're creating a breeze. But,
I don't know about that. But anyway.
Sorry.
I'm thinking UFC, and I know there's lots of UFC fans out there's no doubt. I know a lot of guys that they live for these things, and when there's a big fight... I was at Conor McGregor's fighting again. When was the last time he fought? And it had been, I think, 2018. I understand he signs a 2-fight contract here, so I don't know if he's going to be back, he's going to be out. But then I just got to start to thinking, and I'm like, how I miss, and I'm turning 49, so I'm not that old, but I miss having these big boxing matches that meant something.
Well, you'd remember Leonard Hagler as a kid. Right?
Yeah, see, I've watched...
That was one of the last ones that really stopped everything.
Where was that one?
That was in 87.
So I would have been 10. So
Sugar Ray hadn't fought for a number of years and came back and beat Marvin Hagler. And the world stopped for that fight.
I think I remember watching a documentary on that.
And, when Leonard fought Duran in 80 and 81, again, everything stopped for that. Any Ali fight, whether it was Joe Frazier, whether it was George Foreman, whether it was Joe Bugner, Ernie Shavers, it didn't have to be a name fighter. Chuck Wepner. It didn't have to be a name fighter for an Ali.
You could be throwing out guys to me right now that work at the Safeway. I have no idea. But Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, was it 3, the Thrilla in Manila?
I remember listening to that game, and there were round by round updates on the radio. I didn't go to the Connexus Arts Center. They used to have it on the big.
Yeah.
It was closed circuit. You'd pay and you'd go. I listened to it, and after every round they had a live update on the radio. And I remember sitting by the radio in the Vanstone family living room and putting like little check marks beside Ali or Frazier, depending on who the commentators thought had won the fight. And then Frazier didn't come out for the 15th round, and Ali won. But after the match, Frazier was in better shape than Ali. Ali was exhausted. He went to the hospital, and Joe Frazier went out dancing. What a classic fight that was. Just kind of the last great fight for the two of them. Ali kept going for a number of years, finally finished up against Trevor Berbick, sadly, in 1981, and the Larry Holmes fight the year before was something that never should have happened either. But Ali beat Leon Spinks in 78 for the final and for the title. But after that Joe Frazier fight, he was never the same, and neither was Joe Frazier. I think that just took so much out of them, and it took a lot out of boxing too. That was probably the absolute peak of boxing, that third Ali Frazier fight.
You talked about Duran versus Sugar Ray Leonard. Now, ESPN, I don't remember, ESPN 30 for 30 has a great one on it where Duran kind of surprised everybody in that, and he was in such good shape. And, they didn't know a ton about him, but he came in and he beat him. And then he just went off the rails, kind of got a little chubby and didn't train as hard, and then they went at it again, and Sugar Ray, and that was the no moss.
Yeah, and I remember just in shock, like Roberto Duran of all people, like the toughest guy on earth, And but Sugar Ray, the first fight against Duran, he tried to fight more of a brawling style and kind of go toe to toe with Duran because he'd heard a lot of the criticism about his fighting style and that compared to Duran, and he wanted to prove that he could just punch it up like Duran could, as opposed to being a stylist. So in the second fight, he came out and said, "I'm just going to be Sugar Ray," and he was doing bolo punches and dancing and everything. And not only did he win handily, but I think he humiliated Roberto Duran, and that was the premature end to that fight. I used to really follow this stuff.
This is great.
I have Muhammad Ali's autograph, by the way. So.
Do you?
Yeah, I wrote to him. He used to answer all his fan mail, so I wrote to him in 1982, and he sent an autograph back to Rob Vanstone, my greatest fan, from Muhammad Ali, 3-time champ.
Is that ever cool?
And I got Frazier. I got Larry Holmes.
You were a big boxing guy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're growing up in the 70s, you just couldn't help it. I mean, it was such a... I remember the utter shock when George Foreman knocked out Joe Frazier and knocked him down 7 times.
Wow.
Unreal.
I think like I was Mike Tyson, right? That's what I remember, and then Tyson and Holy. We could probably go on to this forever. We're getting long in the tooth, Curtis. Yeah. Should we? Okay. I don't want you to answer it, but we're gonna play. We're going to do the trivia, then we're going to go to break, and then people get to call in. But I want you to be here. I'm going to ask the question. We'll go to break and see if you can get it. Okay, Curtis, you want to hit the intro? Pump Jacks Cathedral trivia today. Here we go.
It's time for SportsCage Trivia for Pump Jacks. Great food, cold local draft, and a place that feels like home.
I feel like I should have came up with a boxing one now. 936-6262. If you haven't won anything on 620 CKRM in the last 30 days, we're playing for $150 to Pump Jacks Cathedral, 13th and Albert. Great before or after the game. Live music on the weekends. Great spot here in Regina. Okay, 936-6262. You have to call in. You can't text if you haven't won anything in the last 30 days. Here's the question. We'll go to break. We'll come back. Who was the oldest player to ever play in the CFL, and how old was he? 936-6262. Call right now. We'll go to break. We'll come back on the winner, and then while we're at commercial, I'll see if Rob Vanstone gets it. It's a Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Rent a water heater and water softener starting at about $1.20 a day and get $400 when you switch to Reliance Heath.
Okay, France upset by Spain today. 2-0 the final. Spain into the final, and they'll either take on Argentina or England, who play tomorrow. Western Canadian Baseball League. The website, and I know there's been a lot of rainouts, so correct us if we're wrong here. Brooks at Regina tonight, Fort Mac at Moose Jaw tonight, Lethbridge is in Saskatoon, and it says Energy City's at Swift, but then it also says Energy City was playing at home today. So Ben Meyer of the Regina Pat Canadians, Riley Brown of the Moose Jaw AAA Warriors, Regina Pat prospects Logan Henry and Cruz Nicolay have been invited to Hockey Canada's National Under-17 Development Camp taking place July 17th to 21st in Oakville, Ontario. Sports Ticker is for Reliance Heath. Rent a new water heater and softener together for just $1.20 a day. Okay, Pump Jacks Cathedral Trivia. Who do we have on the line? Hello.
Erica. You want me to say Erica Pfeiffer?
Erica Pfeiffer. All right, Erica. $150. Have you been to Pump Jacks Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse?
Not.
Okay, you're going to...
I have not.
Regardless, you win a lunch, even if you don't get it correct, so we're ready to play. Okay, Erica, the question was, who is the oldest player to ever play in the CFL, and how old was he?
I'm going to say it was Bob Cameron. He was 48 years old and 122 days.
You're on AI or Google, aren't you, Erica?
I am. Is that okay?
I didn't say you weren't allowed to do it.
Okay.
We had so many people saying Louis Paseglia, and even the great Rob Vanstone.
I am humbled by this one. So
It's not every day. I stumped. I'm going to get a T-shirt made. Erica, stay on the line, please. Thank you so much for listening and calling in. Curtis is going to take your information. Rob, as always, thanks so much for doing this on a Tuesday.
Oh, thanks for having Candy, the reclusive
She
one.
is passed out.
The heat's getting to her a bit.
I think out of everything we talked about today, all the interesting facts and all the names and even the boxing that you talked about, the craziest thing in our whole talk was that you biked for how many hours in that heat?
Almost 62 kilometers on Saturday.
I am dumbfounded, man. That is so wild. Okay.
I took my spare tire with me too.
Yeah,
So,
well, we all got
bad
that.
joke. No, that was a lot of fun, and hopefully again this week.
Hopefully next Tuesday, yeah, because we got a Thursday night game.
Yeah, I'll see if I can ride my tricycle over here for the show.
Unicycle. The unicycle guy. Cruise the streets of
What
Regina
a sight that would be.
It's the Sports Cage. We're going to come back hour 2 with Arash Madani and Carter Beck, streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. Welcome back. That was really great. Rob Vanstone with his weekly step in. Came to the studio with Candy today. Thanks to everybody who's participating on the Prairieland Rentals text line, and also Pump Jacks Cathedral Trivia. 150 given away today, so we reset it next week. It was a great question. I'm going to ask Arash Madani that question in a couple moments here to see if he gets it. Roscoe texted in, regular on the show, says, took the wife and some other pickleballers to Pump Jacks. Lots of fun. Told you. Did you get the ribs or the chicken strips though, Roscoe? That's what I need to have. Andrew says, yeah, he's not a big UFCer. Doesn't move the needle for him, and he misses the big boxing matches too. That's what I was saying. I missed those ones. We'll get into that with Arash a little bit too. Heather says on the Prairieland Rentals text line at 936-6262, allegedly, she heard on the TV listening to the Rider game, Tommy Stevens scored his last touchdown, and you could hear him saying, best job ever. If that's true, that is awesome. And I'm not saying that's not true. It'd be really cool to go back and try and pick out that clip. So thanks for the text messages so far, all of you, and everybody who's on the YouTube chat as well. Lots of people thinking it was the other answer, as well as Rob Vanstone. I can't believe we kind of stumped Rob Vanstone. It's that time of the week, though, that we get to talk for the first time on a Tuesday to Arash Madani.
It's time to go coast to coast with Arash Madani for Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Gawley at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
Okay, I want to go sideways if we can for a little bit. Are you really busy?
What a surprise. What a surprise. We're going to go sideways. I'm shocked.
Well, do you want it to just be boring, Arash? No, let's spice it up. First off, here was the question. Oh, where did that go now? I got to go off memory. I asked for Pump Jacks Cathedral Trivia. I think you might get this. I stumped the great Rob Vanstone. Okay. Who was the oldest player to ever play in the CFL, and how old was he?
I'm going to go way off the board. I know I'm wrong. I want to say Hank Alisic, punter 48.
Okay. We're going to give you like a quarter of a point because you get the age right. It's Bob Cameron.
Bob Cameron, same position. Same position.
There we go.
Hunter.
Now, yeah, exactly. If anybody is watching the stream and you are of the demographic of Arash and I, not so much Curtis, this is 2 days
By the way,
old.
happy birthday, Curtis.
Yeah, happy birthday, Curtis is right.
Yes.
The big 2-8 today. Is the 2-8 big, or is it just 2-8? I don't think it's big. I think just you're 28.
It's comfortable
28.
Cruising altitude.
Yeah. Trust me, when you get a little bit older, Curtis, like 28 blends in with 35, with 32. You don't know. I don't know how old was I? About 20 something. You're at a good. You're in the pocket though. You got something to say?
Yeah, it's it's just it's not a special one, you know. I just felt I woke up this morning and I was like, it's just another day. I feel like I'm one day closer to 30, though.
If you're watching the stream, I did bring him a birthday present as well.
Oh.
A new Monday Nooner summer collection T-shirt. So
You said it's one of 13, very exclusive.
Yeah, one of 13.
Wow.
He's already wearing it. Okay, this came out 2 days ago, Arash. I thought this still has me chuckling. I don't know if you saw it out there on social media. 35 years ago today, football star Ricky Baker was murdered. Did you see this?
Oh, wow, no.
Boys in the Hood, Ricky.
Oh, my God.
If anyone remembers the movie Boys in the Hood and you're watching the
Yeah.
stream, Ice Cube's brother, Rookie. Now, sorry if I'm going to ruin it for anyone that hasn't seen it.
35 years ago.
And then someone made up a mock. Not that I'm laughing at funerals, but this is just funny. Take it up with Curtis if you got an issue with it. Someone makes a fake obituary pamphlet.
I already felt old enough today, Barney. The Tragically Hip account posted its 28-year anniversary of Phantom Power, the album being released, my favorite hip album. But Ricky, not Ricky.
Ricky, and then poor Ice Cube's mom, and all I remember was the plastic on the furniture because that was a big thing in the 70s and 80s, and Ice Cube puts him on there, and then she thinks Doughboy did it, which he didn't. It was the Crenshaw Mafia.
She thought Doughboy did it. What a reference.
But then Doughboy and Little Chris, and they all got their revenge though. They went out there and they got some.
Imagine being like 32 years old and being like, what language are these two idiots speaking right now?
Furious Styles rolling the balls. That guy had knowledge. That guy
Remember
was
the movie
spewing
New
knowledge.
Jack City? New Jack City was another beauty.
Wasn't Ice-T in that one?
Wesley Snipes for sure.
Wesley
I can't remember if Ice-T, yeah.
Ricky Baker.
Ricky.
We lost him 35 years ago.
We lost him. We lost him.
Pour one out for Ricky if you missed
Pour
it.
one
on
out
the
for Ricky.
Riders on the weekend. Let's go over it. It's really loud wherever you are. Are you at a volleyball game?
I am not. I'm actually in a hotel and somebody's losing their mind, so they're a big deal.
Maybe because they found out we lost Ricky 35 years ago. That's why she just overheard us. But no, Riders comfortable win. Interesting one. Defensive, yes, yay. And takeaways, we step up. What are your takeaways from the game?
You always want to play the team that loses its franchise quarterback the first game after. We talked about this last week. Sorry it's so loud in here. It's just like you're doomed. We're now at a point, Barney, where if you lose your quarterback, you're finished. Like Jake Dolegala had started games in the CFL. Jake Mayer has started many games in the CFL. We're at the point now where if you lose your quarterback, you're in big trouble. And I actually think because of NIL, we're now at the place where getting quality quarterback play is going to be a big issue moving forward. Because if you're making $1 million, $1.5 million in college per year for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, what's gonna entice you to come north of the border on an entry-level deal for 75, 85, 95 to be a developmental guy? The money has changed everything, and this week to me really illustrated, there's no quarterback depth anywhere.
Do you think they're regretting not going with Trey Ford or at least going early? Although, to Rob Vanstone's point, they do move the ball well in the fourth quarter. They just don't score.
They weren't winning that game regardless of who was at quarterback. Like, that's just one of those, it was just a disaster from the beginning kind of games. It got me thinking, Barney, like, I think we can all agree that the Ottawa Redblacks are a complete dumpster fire. And have been for a few years now. My take, if I'm the Ottawa Redblacks, is to do a full court press, tampering, recruiting pitch on Chad Kelly. And I'm being serious. Like, this is going to sound tongue-in-cheek, but I'm not. Like, 10 years ago, the Ottawa Redblacks had Trevor Harris, and they let him walk over $5,000 in a signing bonus. $5,000. And since they've had Curtis put the board up a couple of weeks ago, there it is. Thank you, Curtis, on cue. We can add one more, Jake Mayer. They're 27-82, 27-81 since. Okay? Here's what you do if you're Ottawa. If you're serious about being a real football franchise, which they have not shown that they are for 10 years now, but if you're serious as a football franchise, your owners are in real estate. Your owners own housing developments, condos, etc. You offer Chad Kelly whatever the number is salary-wise. You provide Chad Kelly and his partner and their child a house. You provide Chad Kelly with an off-season job. You provide Chad Kelly's partner with whatever gig she wants, etc. And you let everybody know now, we are putting all our eggs in the middle of the table. Okay, what are we going to do? Take a $10,000 fine? Be stripped of a third-round draft pick for tampering? Who cares? We haven't had a quarterback for 10 years. Our team's a disaster. Dinwiddie and Kelly won a Grey Cup together. Let's go do this. Because otherwise, you're just fooling yourselves. This is about ownership now. This is not about football operations. This is not about development. This is not about the salary cap. We are just going to blatantly do whatever it takes to finally get a real quarterback here, because there's no other way that we can be competitive.
So much of that makes sense. I love the fact that it's like going over the salary cap. Who cares? Did you win? If you win. If you go over the salary cap and you're finishing last, then you don't deserve a job. But if you're going over the salary cap and you're winning, who cares? Luxury tax in baseball. Who cares?
Who cares?
Are we good? Very, very interesting way to look at it. Somebody texted in, and I almost agree with this too. The big QBs, and it's not even going to be the big QBs anymore. It's going to be the mid to higher grade QBs at NCAA. They're just going to sit down there and collect their nil money, and then after that go, all right, I'm going to get on with it. I'm going to go sell insurance in Kennebunkport, Maine.
If you have $5 million, if you've made $5 million, what's going to entice you to come up here?
Our beer.
For 2, 3, 4 years. Yeah, right? So, and think about what the quarterback situation is in the league right now. From an air quote young quarterback, there's Davis Alexander, there's Nathan Rourke, and there's nobody else. You know, Cody's no spring chicken. He nearly retired at the end of last year. Bo might be done. I'm sure he's going to try and come back. He doesn't want to end his career on an injury. And on we can go. Zach's long in the tooth, blah, blah, blah. So you have two young guys. You have Chad Kelly, who's in the prime of his career. You have Vernon Adams, who Calgary is not going to let get anywhere near market. You'll just pay him whatever you want to pay him to keep him there. It's a real situation with this whole NIL thing.
I don't know if we want to go to Ottawa as much, but also the quarterbacks in the league aren't young. I don't know if you kind of really touched on that, but when you look around the league, it's like, okay, aging. Yeah, Rourke is young.
Yeah, it's Rourke, it's Alexander, and then like Chad Kelly, kind of. And that's it.
Canadian, you know what? One thing Rob and I were talking about, like Canadian receivers, Philpott in Montreal leading the way. Canadian receivers in this league, and then I said, yeah, it's recency bias because we're talking about it. We're seeing it right now. Could be the best that we've ever seen league wide.
So Rankin is going, like, again, if he stays healthy and continues, Rankin's going to win MOP. But there's a real argument to be made for Philpott in the MOP conversation. He makes the catches that nobody can make. He doesn't drop the football. He doesn't fumble the football. He's explosive. He's the security blanket. He's the home run hitter. He blocks. Like, there's no deficiency in his game. There's not an area, Barney, where you say, well, he's da-da-da-da-da, except he can do all of these things, but not quite. No. And the ridiculous catches he makes. My God. So if you need a touchdown in the red zone, you can count on Philpott. If you need to make the incredible look routine, you can count on Philpott. And then if you really want him to, like, be grimy, really get into the weeds and block and just be that get his nose dirty kind of dude, he's that too.
You were telling us Ottawa was going to be bad from jump, as the kids say. Did you think it was going to be this bad in Ottawa?
No. And I honestly don't believe that it's a coaching thing. Like, that roster is just terrible. They're bad. I don't know how they get out of this.
What about Gino? Is he just going to grin and bear it for a while, or?
Yeah.
He's getting paid. He likes it there. Great guy, but at a point, though, you're going to wake up and you're going to blink and it's going to be 3 years or 2 years later, and you kind of want to do your thing now.
And it's mid-July. Let's just see how this thing plays out. Like, if you're Gino, what you actually really want is a quarterback. You want somebody who's going to be able to get you the ball. And Jake Mayer, McLeod Bethel Thompson, they have a young kid there, third string, some kid from Utah State. Like, if I'm Ottawa, give it another month. I guess maybe 2 more weeks of Jake Mayer, maybe 2 or 3 more weeks of McLeod Bethel Thompson. And unless something crazy happens, you just ride this young kid and give him reps and let him learn the pro game. Because you're not making the playoffs. You're not doing anything this season. So you know what you have with Jake Mayer. You know who McLeod Bethel Thompson is. At least find out what this kid has. Like, I think at this point, you're almost, it's crazy to say this on July 14th, Barney, you're almost in evaluation mode for next season very, very quickly. Because that's how far off the radar they've put themselves in.
Who's the best team in the CFL right now?
Sask. Montreal's 2. And Edmonton's 2A.
You're really confident in Edmonton across the board?
Because, I mean, they have the best player in the league and a quarterback who can get him the ball, and he can carry the mail for you too. And the quarterback doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And their head coach comes from a special teams background. They don't make a lot of mistakes in the kicking game. They're good. They're solid. Now, do I think BC can turn things around? Sure, of course, yes. But right now, if I'm picking a team to go, look, it's July 14th. We have 4 months until this thing's for real. But I'll take Cody up against anybody in a 1-game situation right now. I can't believe I'm saying these things, but I am.
I like JC Sherritt, too.
Yeah, sure.
There.
Sure.
Liked him when he was here. Liked him as a player in Edmonton. So, understandable. Let's shift it to my favorite pastime, baseball. Major League All-Star. Major League All-Star break. The Jays are in last place in the AL East. Has it gone wrong? Where has it gone wrong?
They can't hit. They can't pitch. They can't play defense. It's gone wrong in every area. The amazing part, Barney, again, sorry for the noise. They're in last place in the AL East, dead last, and they're 2.5 games back of a playoff spot with 71 games to go. And the only reason they're in last place is because the Red Sox out of nowhere won 9 in a row. I don't think the Blue Jays are very good, but the American League is trash. So where is this headed? I don't know. Where is this headed in terms of, can they sneak in? Yeah, maybe, sure. Are they going places? I don't see it. But then again, I look at it, and you see Tampa, and you see the Yankees. The Chicago White Sox 2 years ago lost 112 games, something like that, and they're leading their division. Like, it is wide open for anybody if you just start to play some decent baseball, which the Blue Jays through 91 games haven't, and yet they're right there.
What's wrong with Vladimir Guerrero? Like, he's got 6 home runs in 91 games. Last year in October, he had like 8. What has happened?
It is one of the most confounding things. Like, think about that. A dude had more homers in the playoffs a month than in 91 games. Is he trying to do too much? Probably. Is he forcing the issue? Yeah. Does he not have enough protection around him? Springer's dipped. Springer's been hurt. Bo is gone. Barger hasn't been healthy. Sure. But it still doesn't add up to why the power has just disappeared, Barney. It makes no sense, man. It makes no sense at all.
I wonder if you take your camera and walk over to that group of people and just awkwardly video them and let me ask them questions. Do you think that they would be uncomfortable?
It's that loud, huh?
A little bit. But anyway, it's all. Hey, I should have asked Rob. Should have asked Rob this and I forgot. It was the home run derby last night. I watched bits and pieces. I got a question for you. Greatest baseball swing of all time, according to Arash Madani.
Oof. Barry Bonds had a pretty one, but Ken Griffey Jr. might take the cake.
That's where I was going. And you put that backwards hat on in batting practice or the home run derby. That's swagger. That and Fred Couples golf swing. Like those are, and then wasn't, like.
Like, remember, nobody wore their hat backwards other than catchers. But, like, in society, no one wore their hat backwards until Ken Griffey Jr. did.
What did you think of the Conor McGregor? I think he actually hurt his knee. He's 37. You tweaked things. I don't think it was a dive. I think he wanted to throw hands. He just couldn't. What did you think of it? And are you big UFC guy?
I'm not. I saw it all. My read on that is that dude wasn't right coming into the octagon. I think he was nursing something prior to it, and then, all the adrenaline, and then he lands, and then bam, something that was, hanging by a string actually pops. Also, Barney, like, he hadn't fought in 4 years, 5 years. Like, can you imagine telling a football player, a hockey player, a baseball player, hey, you've been away from the game this long, and then just go in right away and do it?
Curtis says Phillip Rivers.
I said do it well. I guess I should have said that. Do it well.
I miss boxing. I can't believe I'm saying that. I miss 1980s, 1990s, and these young kids nowadays will never know what we're talking about. Rob Vanstone went back into the 70s. I wish I could have watched the Thrilla in Manila. I wish I could have watched Hagler Hearns. I wish, gone to some sketchy bar with pay-per-view or an art center or whatever. But we still got, when you think about it, we got Tyson scaring people when he walked with that poncho style, whatever that was, into the ring with his black trunks. And there were guys that were like, this, let's finish this quick. And then we got Holyfield. And then we got
Lennox Lewis, Razor Ruddock, Riddick Bowe.
The Buster Douglas Tokyo thing, that 30 for 30 is that's still one of the things that you wake up the next day and you either heard it on the radio or read it in the newspaper. And at 12, 13 years old, whatever, I'm like, what? I didn't think that guy. No, you can't beat that guy.
Heavyweight boxing used to be all of it, and now in the chat, can somebody text in without looking it up and name one heavyweight in boxing? Like we went from all those guys: Tyson, Trevor Berbick, Razor Ruddock, Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe, Evander Holyfield, I guess Buster Douglas for a minute. Like all these dudes. And they were gigantic fights. Now, can anybody just name one heavyweight in the division, honestly, without looking it up?
Bald Bull? Punch Out fans out there? The last probably really interesting. Everyone watched Tyson at like 60 or whatever he was, try and do that thing. That didn't work. It was it Manny Pacquiao and somebody? That was kind of the last. And that wasn't even heavyweight.
Pacquiao Mayweather, yeah.
Yeah.
And that just became a gimmick thing by the end. Then Mayweather got in the ring with Conor McGregor, and what really was that? Yeah. Gimmick.
Okay, go and tell those people there's a guy in Regina, Saskatchewan says you're annoying.
Yeah.
Yes. Did they all drive VW little station wagons? Did you see a bunch of them parked out front? Oh, buddy.
I'm sorry.
Talk to you Thursday.
All right, see you, bud.
See ya. Coast to Coast with Arash Madani. Brought to you by Brian Gawley, Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian. We'll go to break. We'll come back. I think we have Carter Beck standing by. Major League Baseball prospect, first rounder. It's a SportsCage, the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. Got to get to the Prairie Land Rentals text line in a bit. Some good ones coming in on boxing and UFC. 936-6262. Prairie Land Rentals, located at 600 Albert Street. But let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. It's Tuesday, All-Star Game baseball. Grab yourself a wheel, any of the Greek favorites that they make. Souvlaki, rib salad. Your local Western Pizza is ready for you tonight. Joining us from Carnduff, Saskatchewan, Carter Beck is on the Western Pizza guest hotline. The biggest news this weekend, Conor McGregor didn't even last 2 minutes. Right, just kidding. Congratulations. What a wild ride it's been for you. First off, the video goes viral. The backyard, everything there. I think it's your old man. He's like, "Are you kidding me?" And then just the big hug. Like, how do you has it kind of come down to reality and watched it all and just soaked it all in now, Carter?
I mean, a little bit, as much as it can be. Every time you watch it, it's crazy. Just that moment, like that's the most surreal moment I've ever had in my life. Just not knowing at all how to react. I mean, my hands just went on my head, and I know some people are like, "Oh, you didn't have much of a reaction," but that's about the only time maybe in my life I've had no idea how to act. Just like hands up. It was unbelievable.
Was that always the game plan to kind of do it like with friends and family, do it at in the backyard like that?
Yeah, I was just gonna get the close family out, friends and family, whoever was close, get them out to the backyard and watch the draft and wait till that big moment happened, and then post draft that night we headed out to the Ball Diamonds and got some more people to come out and celebrate. Whoever wanted to join had a fun little party. I
talked to some guys from Carnduff, said that was actually a good time. It sounds like it would be. Do you talk to Atlanta before?
So I pretty much knew 30 seconds before I got picked. My agent kind of took care of everything and then gave me a phone call. And actually, I guess I missed a phone call. But then I picked up the phone and he goes, "Hey, go watch the TV." And I turn around, point at the TV, and then sure enough, like they say, and with the 26th overall pick, the Atlanta Braves pick Carter Beck. And I'm like, holy, what? That's what it's like. And then.
Yeah, where do you and your agent, where do you guys talk? Like, what round do you think you're gonna go in before? Where was it kind of earmarked?
I mean, he told me that morning, just like he called me early, like 6:30 in the morning, just like, be ready, start paying attention, like late first round, early second round, kind of expecting there. So I was kind of waiting for a little bit longer till I like really expected something. I knew there was a chance I could sneak into the first round, but I knew sort of the teams that were interested and sort of the things, but I didn't know everything. And then sure enough, I get that phone call and I figured he was going to talk about like a 3 or 4 picks away. No, he said 30 seconds, watch TV right now. And then that was that.
Do you get any sleep the night before and the night after?
I got a little bit, but there was a lot of excitement, and there's really no nerves ever because it happened so fast, like that. There just was never a chance to be like, oh, what's going to happen? It was just bang, bang, done, and that was that.
I've talked to guys, the NHL draft, I kind of know that, and they go and then they interview with teams and they do kind of that. Is that how the majors work? Like, do you meet with a number of teams before?
So we had the MLB draft combine that I went to, and I met with 12 teams there. So they kind of get all the info on you for whatever you need, and then it's kind of all a secret though till like draft day, and like everybody's just poking around, seeing what's happening, and kind of that your agent just takes care of it all, and hopefully he does a good job like mine did a good job, and get you in a spot where you want to go.
I guess open tab at the Carnduff bar for your agent for the remainder. The one thing that I was talking to some guys Saturday night at Country Thunder who know your family and know you, and they're saying like you're going through the grind, right? Like your parents and getting grants and going to play ball here and doing this like salt of the earth family, and I'm sure now looking back, and there's still a long way to go for you, but looking back, like the parents and the sacrifices, and you hear it all the time, but that becomes I guess right in the mush, right? Like you're like, wow, yeah. These people sacrificed everything for me.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've been saying it already since my first year Division I baseball, because that was a huge step. Just that they've given me every opportunity I've ever needed, and put a lot of things aside so I could go out and succeed, and just kind of always stayed on top of me too, and never let me. I always said my mom was the one that let me know if I was doing something wrong pretty quickly at the game, and my dad always coached me, so he was always there too. But yeah, they just gave me every opportunity I'd ever need, and we got it done.
What Saski major leaguers you kind of always aspire to be? I know Albers was around the Berries, right? But because it's real now that a Saski boy, a Saski athlete can play in the majors.
Yeah, I mean, like the big one, I don't know if I had a single big one from Saskatchewan, but Albers and Mulliken coached me when I was like 14 or 16 or 17. I've been around him lots. Albers a little bit less, but still been around him. And just showing that they can go out there and do it. I mean, my goal is to go out there and get up to the big leagues as fast as I can, whatever it takes, 2-3 years, and then go up and stick there for 8 to 10 to 12 years, hopefully. So just going to go out and try and do what I need to do to get there, and take it one step at a time. But it'd be super cool to be the next big name Saskatchewan guy who played in the major leagues for a decent length too.
Carter Beck's joining us here, drafted in the first round of the Atlanta Braves. Those guys are absolute beauties, salt of the earth guys as well. I want to ask you, people that don't know, I don't know your game that well, but what is the best part of Carter Beck's game, would you say?
I think when I tell people the best part is just it's kind of a complete game, and I compete in every aspect. I'm going to go out and be a competitor. I'm going to get my jobs done, whether it's running through a wall to catch a ball or sprinting out a ground ball, just kind of playing hard at all times and not really having any major flaw. Like there's nothing that people can pick up and tear me down on. Like everything, I can do everything, and I just think like everything can grow. But kind of just that compete side of things, and I think a lot of it comes from playing all the sports in high school: hockey, volleyball, track, you name it. I did it in high school. But just that competitor side of me, I think, is a big win.
Where does Carter Beck need to maybe polish his game a little bit for that next level?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just overall what I'm super excited for is to get to that level of coaching too, get around it. Like, not to diss any of my coaches at Indiana State, but I've never had a true like outfield coach whose job is literally outfield coordinator, outfield coach. His job is only to coach the outfielders. Like that's just, you don't have that luxury at the schools I was at. So just that level of training, that level of stuff around me to get better, I'm super excited for.
What does the next few months, 6 months hold for you then? What do the Braves tell you?
So I am reporting Saturday. I'll probably fly in Friday, then report day Saturday, sign some papers officially with some pictures and stuff. I mean, I'm signed already, but I'll sign them with pictures. And then Sunday's like orientation day. Monday they start training already. And then like 1 to 2 weeks, depending on when they say I'm up to speed, I'll be in their spring training complex. And hopefully they want to ship me out to low A or high A or wherever it's going to be and start grinding the minor leagues. And then I'll have a fall development camp in September, October, and get a little bit of time and then head back for spring training in the middle of January.
What are you looking forward to the most? Because you talk about guys, I've talked to Albers and Mully as well, right? And just that minor league grind. It is a grind, but it's fun, especially when you're young. Like, what are you looking forward to the most, Carter?
I think just, as you said, the grind part. Like, I loved when I played up in Saskatoon with the Berries playing every day. And, I mean, it's great when all you do is you wake up, make breakfast, head to the field, and go play baseball every day. That consists of your day. And I really enjoy that part of it. And I'm super excited to get going on that. And just, like, that's to be full-time what I do. I don't got to worry about school. I don't got to worry about – no, it's just literally baseball.
A lot of people know, and some don't. You were a heck of a hockey player as well. Do I get this correct? Like, it was around COVID that you kind of make the switch to go, I'm going full baseball here. Is that true?
Yeah, it kind of just worked out that way that it made more just kind of, missed out on basically 2 whole hockey seasons, or not 2, 1 whole hockey season though. And getting able to still play baseball because I was outside a little better. And I think I just grew a ton too. I mean, I know my velo when I came to throwing jumped about 10 to 12 miles an hour during COVID and got a lot bigger, stronger because nothing to do but get outside, throw baseballs, work out. And so, yeah. Yeah,
right on. COVID helped out in that respect. When's the last time do you still play pickup hockey though? Like you still go on the ice or no?
Oh, yeah. Every Christmas when I get back home and I get a couple of weeks, I'll get on the ice, play plenty of shinny and stuff. Yeah. And, I mean, there used to be a crew that I grew up playing shitty with every single day. We'd spend all Christmas break like 10 hours at the rink, and so we still show up for Christmas, for old time's sake.
So probably still now we're looking at Cardiff Red Devils a few years, maybe you're like 10 years down the road, right? When you're retired, you come back, play a season or 2 with them.
I get asked all the time, when are you coming back to play real hockey? So that's what they tell me all the time. I got a few years of baseball left.
Yeah. Oh, the Big Sexy. It's a good league. Hey, thanks for giving Sasky kids something to dream about, man. Like with the guys you mentioned, really cool. Proud of you. So many people are, from all accounts. You and your family are just, like I said, salt of the earth. Really appreciate you taking some time today because I know it's busy for you and going to get busier.
Yeah, it's been a little crazy. I can't lie these last few days, but I appreciate it. And yeah, it's been great to hop on.
Right on. Thanks so much. There he is. Wow. What a great young man. Going off to Atlanta on Saturday already. Carter Beck, Cardiff, Saskatchewan. First rounder in the Major League. There you go, kids. I know there's some kids, pretty good ball players in Regina. This is going to inspire them, no doubt. It's a Sports Cage on the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
The Sports Cage Clutch Performer for Glen Suitor. Thinking about saving money by using solar power? Glen Suitor is a local family company that can put solar panels on your home, business, or farm. GlenSuitor.com.
Is it too late? Can we still go with Carter Beck? Like, what a great interview there. Clutch performer right there. Sticking with baseball, Jordan Walker home run, first Cardinal ever to win the home run derby. Last night. That is mine. Also, shout out Prairie Prestige golf team. Huge win last night in the match play league. I'm supposed to pass on. You have one?
Yeah. You know what? Today, I actually got a clutch performer. Are you ready?
It's your birthday too.
Oh, wow. Thank you. And so clutch performer today is going to be Macklin Celebrini for being the youngest player ever to make it on the cover of Chell. NHL 27 is going to feature Macklin Celebrini on the cover, and then the deluxe edition, he's in the home jersey as well. So I thought that was pretty clutch. And you know what? I have an unclutch today too.
Okay.
Have you ever driven down a one-way the wrong way?
Probably.
Probably, yeah. Well, when I was prepping for the show today, someone came zooming by the one way going the wrong way.
Yeah.
And we had to pull the footage because it was funny. There was a honk that went by, and like because they were going the wrong way, they blew a light essentially in front of someone else. Because there wouldn't have been a light because it was a one way, and someone going across straight green honked at him, and I was like, "What is going on out there?"
That's two things on that. Great job getting the footage. Secondly, that we have footage of the front of our building. We could barely use that for Clutch Performer every day. If we just wanted to go to, we should have a segment. Front cam check-in today. Secondly, my son's got his learners. Yeah. That's a new level of stress and anxiety in a parent's life. I'm worried about him hitting curbs. He hammered potholes, the manhole covers that are sunken in my struts and shocks, and then he doesn't really get how a transmission works yet. And I'm like, oh boy, this is going to cost me a lot of money. Those are good. Good job today, Curtis.
Hey, thanks, man.
Clutch performer for Glen Suitor. It is solar season, lots of sun. You should be saving money. Put it on the house, the farm, the cottage, and also they got you hooked up in the livestock operation field as well. Glen Suitor, family-run business in Lumsden, Saskatchewan. Sprinkle of the day quick for sportselect.com. Make your picks online. Generate a QR code. Go to your Lotto Spot retailer. Scan away. There you go. I have no idea. If anybody has an idea, Benny, text in on the 936-6262. What if we went to the American League versus National League All-Star game tonight?
Oh.
American League is 255 on the pro line. The National League is home. They're 220. A tie is an event decided by 1 run or less. So you need them to win by 2. The tie pays 3 on the pro line. Point spread, I'm clueless on that, but the over-under is 8. I think for some, no, it's now 8.5. I think for some reason, I have no idea. I would like the over. Is it going to be, are the pitchers really good? Come on, people. 936-6262. Help us out. It is the sprinkle of the day for Sports Select. When you're ready to play, bet on the original Sports Select, sportselect.com. Chance of winning cash in hand. I don't know.
That was a throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks.
Well, there's nothing else to watch. There's no other sports, unless I want to watch horse racing from Australia, which I've been known to do. There's no other sports to really, if a guy wants to sprinkle tonight.
You're going to have to talk to Durant's bookie. There's probably something underground you can get going.
We are talking tomorrow about the Open Championship. It's my favorite golf event of the year. And I get up at 1, 2 in the morning and just watch it. Yeah. And I'll be sprinkling there. So there'll be a full segment on the Open tomorrow here on the Sports Cage. We'll go to break. It's the Sports Cage on this Tuesday for Saskatchewan Lotteries, main fundraiser for sport, culture, and recreation in Saskatchewan. We'll be right back.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport, 1425 McIntyre Street, the Cooperator Center, Moose Jaw Temple Garden Center, and online at extremehockey.net.
Big upset. The World Cup, Spain ousting France. They won 2-0. So now they await the winner of Argentina, England tomorrow. They'll play in the World Cup final. Western Canadian Baseball League regular season. Check the website or call a friend because we're going off the website, but we're not really sure because a lot of rainout games. We have Brooks at Regina tonight, which I think is legit. We have Fort Mac at Moose Jaw. Lethbridge is in Saskatoon to take on the Berries. And Energy City is at Swift Current, according to the website. But earlier today, it had Brooks and Energy City tied in the bottom of the third. So unless they jumped on the bus and are coming in hot into Swift and playing at like 9 tonight, I don't know if the website's right. Check it. And Ben Meyer of the Regina Pat Canadians, Riley Brown of the AAA Moose Jaw Warriors, along with Pat's prospects Logan Henry and Cruz Nicolay, have been invited to Hockey Canada's National Under-17 Development Camp taking place July 17th and 21st in Oakville, Ontario. The sports ticker is for Extreme Hockey and Sport. The Progressive Baseball sale is on. Speaking of baseball, save 10% on your first item, 15% on your second, 20% on your third, and 25% on your fourth item and every item after that. Score big savings on bats, gloves, helmets, training gear, and more. Extreme Hockey and Sport, McIntyre Street in Regina under new management. They're local. They support local. Extreme Hockey and Sport. Back out in the Western Pizza guest hotline, Brian Raymond, Flowing Springs Golf Course, is joining us. Brian, with this heat, are you seeing a lot of... do you still get the walkers, the people that like to walk in this heat?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And to be fair, the majority of the people that are playing right now and when it's hot are in the morning. The afternoon tends to be more riders for sure because it can be pretty demanding.
That's right. Okay, tomorrow's a Wednesday, and Wednesday at Flowing Springs, there are deals to be had.
Absolutely. Wednesday's a special day, as is Monday. Every Monday and Wednesday, we give seniors and ladies a chance to come out and play our fantastic golf course for just $42. And when I say fantastic, I mean our golf course is in good shape most of the time because we have good staff and lots of water. But, man, with the rain that we've had and now the heat, you can hear the grass jumping out of the ground.
Also, if you're not a senior or you're not a lady, you can take advantage of the other specials as well.
Oh, absolutely. For anybody, after 3 o'clock, it's $40.50. After 6 o'clock, it's $22.50. And, man, has that ever become popular because we still have lots and lots of light at the after 6 o'clock. So it's been really, really good. And you know what? A combination of people walking and riding, it's kind of neat. There's a lot of people with their husbands and wives, fathers and daughters, fathers and sons. It's been really cool.
Exactly. Go out there with strangers. I don't mind golfing with strangers, to be honest. Okay, I got to ask you this because I'm not going to talk to you again until Thursday. Give me one pick. Give me a couple picks maybe for the Open Championship.
Oh, wow. I think it might be Rory. Scheffler's been struggling. If you watch anything in the Scottish Open, he struggled. He didn't make the cut, so exactly. I don't know if Scheffler's going to make it. And any of those British guys, they playing on a links golf course is really, really tough. So any of those hosts of English guys, they have a really good chance at this.
Yeah, I like Tommy Fleetwood.
Yeah, that would be one I would think of for
Tommy
sure.
Fleetwood, Matty Fitzpatrick, yeah. But we can we'll see how things are going on Thursday when we chat. People want to get in, they want to make a tee time, they can call or go online, Brian?
That's right. Give us a call, 306-543-5050, and you can book online at flowingspringsgolf.com.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll talk to you Thursday, Brian.
You betcha. Take care.
There he is. Brian Raymond, Flowing Springs Golf Course. Most reasonably priced golf course in Saskatchewan, according to me, I think. Sports Cage on this Tuesday for Saskatchewan Lotteries. We're coming back. Glen Suitor, we're going to talk football, but Glen Suitor, he's been listening. He wants to talk boxing and UFC as well. We're going to have that. Glen Suitor after the news. Stay tuned. All right, we're back. Hour 3 of the show. Curtis is with me if you missed any of it. You know what to do. Go back and listen to it in podcast form for Freeze, Tallman, in Fort Capel and Regina. More than a lumberyard. Hour 1, Rob Vanstone is in. We're going to play some of that again here later in hour 3, and his dog Candy. Talked a lot of CFL, and then who would have thought, who would have known, Rob is a boxing aficionado. He knows his boxing from back in the day as well. Pump Jacks Cathedral Trivia was great today. $150 was won on a question not many people got right initially, even with the old Google and the AI and all that. So Arash Madani in hour 2, he was at some sort of a party in a lobby of a bar. It was interesting nonetheless, and it's always good to talk to Arash. And then Carter Beck from Cardiff, Saskatchewan, drafted in the first round by the Atlanta Braves, was with us about half hour ago in hour 2. You can go back and listen to it on podcast 4 if you would like. We've been talking CFL, of course. We've been talking Riders, of course. And then the UFC, Conor McGregor, he went to do one of those kicks that we've all done so many times. And looked like he tweaked his knee, and then he couldn't stand up. It looked like the floor was slippery, which I guess it's a mat. It's not a floor. And they were like, couldn't figure it out. And then after they slowed everything down and they went to it, it did look like he tweaked something in his knee. Probably not a good thing when you can't stand up when you're in UFC, because you get punched in the face and different things like that. So didn't last very long. I heard, and Curtis, I don't know if you can fact check this, I heard he had a 2-fight contract with the UFC. So he underwent knee surgery. Now where does that land? A UFC guy or girl out there, throw it at us. We get a lot of text messages, people saying, SportsCage listeners, not huge UFC fans, but a lot of people remember boxing, like Wilbur. His favorite boxer were Butterbean. Did that guy ever win anything as well? I lived through the Tyson and the Tyson Holyfield and Buster Douglas and Lennox Lewis. Who else was in there? Wasn't that Klitschko guy?
Yeah, he has a two-fight contract. The next fight is scheduled for April 2027. So yeah.
So next April?
Yeah.
And what? Yeah.
Next year. So a whole year to recover, I suppose.
Yeah. Maybe they'll let him be knee brace guy, and he'll just go in and fight and just however.
Why not like an O lineman with just 2 knee braces on?
One of those copper things that they put on. But yeah. So yeah, we will talk about that. We'll talk about this with our next guest. It's time to talk to Glen Suitor.
Time now for press coverage with CFL and Saskatchewan Rough Rider legend Glen Suitor on the Sports Cage. Brought to you by Freeze Tome and Lumber. Locally owned, family grown, rooted in our community for 70 years in Regina and Fort Capel.
We want to go. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Do we want to go CFL first, or do you want to talk boxing?
Well, we might as well. Because it's fresh on the mind. And for me, Holyfield Tyson, and not the ear bite one. The ear bite one was just a massive disappointment. That was the rematch. I can't remember what year it was. It was in the mid-90s.
Isn't that the night Tupac was shot? Or is that something else?
Was there something else going on? But Holyfield Tyson, so there's this guy in Mike Tyson that is just this bull. Like, he is just mowing people down, real quick, couple of rounds. And by the way, at the same time, we're in the middle of the Rocky movie experience. So that's all tied in. And then Holyfield just out techniques him. He looks like he's a much stronger. And if you think about that, like when Tyson was on his way up, everyone thought, this guy, there is no one stronger than this guy. I mean, his punch goes through a brick wall here. And then Holyfield comes out and moves around the ring and counter punches and knows his game plan, knows he comes straight ahead. It was this master class in boxing technique. And I'm not a boxing expert by any stretch of the imagination.
And if you go back, Glenn, if you remember and this might tweak your memory because I'm not exact on it, but Holyfield somewhat retired because he had like a heart issue. So they were like, his boxing was done, but he could never beat Tyson or could never fight Tyson or whatever it was. And then Tyson went to jail. Then it came out, and it should have all happened years before, but it never did. And then we finally got the two. Yeah, the ear biting. It wasn't Mike Tyson Holyfield. It was Mike Tyson versus Bruce Seldon when Tupac was shot. Rest in peace.
Oh, okay.
Pour one out. But yeah, the Tyson Holyfield, but then Lennox Lewis, which we kind of adopted as a Canadian somehow. Someone didn't he box for Canada in the Olympics, or there was some sort of Canadian tie. Before that, we had Scotty the Bulldog Olsen and Willie DeWitt. And those were the Canadian boxers. And then after that, you had to go to Stampede Wrestling, and that's all we had. But you talk about Rocky, and like the Rocky movies, one is really, I try to get my son to watch all of them. What's that called? The library?
Yeah.
And one is pretty slow moving. And one is, and this was after we watched Karate Kid, the first two. So he was expecting like real good stuff here. And he's like, what the heck
Wax
are we
on,
watching?
Wax off.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah. Elizabeth Shue showed out. And then we're watching Rocky, but then it gets really good. I still, to this day, if I watch Rocky, is it Rocky 4? I still think he's going to lose to the Russian. There is no way the Russian's losing.
Drago. Yeah. Well, that one is one of my favorites. And when I was training for football in the off seasons and things, I would watch these Rocky movies. And I swear I would go out and break from my trainer's conventional stuff. And I'd say, no, this is going to be really cool. I'm going to put a log on my shoulders and walk through the snow in northern, or just, climb a mountain, and it symbolizes that I'm chopping down a big Russian opponent. and finding, the differences in those montages in the workouts. I just love them because there was the Russian that had all the top end, all the machines and the testing and it was all, top.
Wasn't it put together well?
Oh, it was amazing. And there's Rocky lifting up his trainer and Adrian in the barn with they were working the same muscles, but they were doing it from a position of wealth and just this poor guy that's going to just get right down to the nitty gritty of it. And then he's looking in the mirror before big fight night, and that's when he rips. He's had enough confidence and enough work to I swear to God, in my mind, when I was training, and I play all the music, Eye of the Tiger and all the stuff from the first 1, 2, and climbing up. I mean, you go to Philadelphia, you run up those stairs, don't you? I mean, everybody does it.
Yeah, everybody. I had a buddy that went to Philly a couple of years ago, and he's somewhat overweight, and he still did the stairs. He's like, I'm doing the stairs. Yeah, so would you get the Walkman on with some Burning Heart by Survivor in a tape cassette, or even better, was it Robert Tepper who had No Easy Way Out? That's when he's driving his car real fast, and I think he throws his helmet at his statue. Hearts on Fire, Strange Desire. There's another one, Jeffrey, on the YouTube chat. Suits. Did you go into the basement and get a cart with rocks and lift up your wife? Or
buddy, that was it. It was doing these different types of trying to think outside of the gym. I want to get out of the bench press and the squat and those things that everyone was doing, and go into. If I just dig a huge hole, and that movement maybe is something different than, because Rocky doesn't know, put on the big Walkman, and you had to strap the Walkman to your body because it was such a big, piece of equipment. So you'd wrap it up with the straps to your body, and now you're listening to Hearts on Fire, and you're going nuts, trying to find an edge for the next football season. But that was right when Holyfield and Tyson, and it even goes back further to the Muhammad Ali time and his fights. And I wonder if it was the talk and the concussion movies and those things that changed how we look at ultimate fighting and how we look at boxing. And I don't know. I'm throwing that out as a question because it has really changed. I don't see the same popularity or anywhere near back in the day.
I really miss the big boxing matches. UFC, I got into the first couple. That's when like Royce Gracie would fight a guy that was like 350 pounds, and then it was like anything goes, and then they made a bunch of rules and all that, probably for the better. I just learned 2 years ago watching it with a bunch of guys at an establishment that there was rounds now. I'm like, what are they stopping it for? There's rounds. I'm like, okay, well, I've been away from the game, boys. Sorry, but I watched it on Saturday. I was like, meh. And then I was just thinking about, I don't think we'll ever get back to seeing big heavyweight boxing. I don't think we're ever going to go there.
And was there a transition there when Hulk Hogan? Remember when he in the movie when he was fighting? Yes, Thunderlips, and he was like in the beginning of that scene where he goes, we'll just walk around in circles for charity, and Thunderlips throws him right out of the ring into the crowd
and just hammers his back. And really Sly, like, I don't know, he not a small gentleman, but Hogan made him look like a dwarf.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But how good a shape did Sylvester Stallone get into? Oh, I mean, and if you look at the backstory of that movie franchise, he sold that script. He wrote that script in a couple of days or something like that. And he tried to sell that script to a lot of people, and Paramount, a lot of different companies said, we like it, but we'd have to get a different guy to play Rocky. And Stallone, who had no money at the time, zero, says, I'm playing Rocky or I'm not selling it. And they were going to give him some really good money for a guy that had no money at the time. I think it was upwards of $200,000 at the time, and this is in the 70s. And he didn't take it. He said, nope, I'm playing Rocky. I know what this part is. I'm playing Rocky. And then he goes from that evolution of chubby guy in the streets to just wanting to go the distance with. And here's how I'll segue to football, because him training in the first one and just having that talk with Adrian about, I just want to go to the distance. No one has gone the distance with Apollo, who, by the way, was a former BC Lion. Yeah. So Apollo Creed. So anyway, that if I could pick my favorite moment of television in the Canadian Football League, it was in the Winnipeg game this weekend. And Trey Vavel drops a fumble. He's trying to catch a punt. It slides through. It hits his foot, bounces right to the Argos. At that time, it's a close game. This is a huge momentum swing. And Trey Vavel is beside himself, distraught on the bench. Like, he's got his head down. He's emotional. And Pat Neufeld, who a lot of Rider fans know, walks over to him, puts his hand on his shoulder, talks to him. We don't know what he said, but he talks to him. And I can guess that he said, let it go. We're going to need you. And he goes out 2 minutes later and goes 129 yards, seals the deal for the Bombers on a missed field goal return. My favorite moment of television so far this season was that 7 minutes, because that's what's so dramatic about it. And the highs and the lows, and that's what Rocky was. It was those highs and those lows, and I just want to go the distance. And then he's out there getting pounded, and he cut me, Mick, cut me. I can't see, cut me.
You know what he might have said to him? Probably actually what he said to him, Glenn, was, "There's no easy way out. There's no shortcut home."
and then Trey Vavel said, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Oh, it was a Rocky clip from a song that
watch Rocky.
You weren't born yet, but it was a cool movie." Yeah.
What impressed you about the Riders on Sunday?
Well, a lot. I mean, that score was probably flattering for Hamilton. I think first of all, just tough to see the big injury. That one was
Sexton.
That one, yeah, Sexton was. It's too bad, and it didn't look good at all. But and because he's a keeper. That guy's fun to watch with his effort level and his intensity. But no, I thought they kind of played ropey-dope in the first half, and the defense basically shut down Jake Dolegala. And I think we can stop taking data now on what it is that has increased scoring. What it is great quarterback play, period. That's it. Because we've seen now 3 examples, 2.5 weeks really, of backup quarterbacks and how different the game looks when you have an inexperienced quarterback in there. Now, I say inexperienced. Dolegala's got 12 games under his belt, but still nowhere near Bo Levi Mitchell. And with him out, he was missing guys when they were open, and some of the guys dropped him when they weren't. And, it was just... And that takes nothing away from the defensive effort from the Riders, because they were causing these issues. Dolegala was never confident in the pocket, and the reason for that, the main reason, was that there were guys, around him, denting the pocket and causing him to shuffle and hop, and he never really stepped into throws, and they were sailing on him, and and then the offense caught fire in the second half, and then Trevor got it going. I think the AJ Ouellette was another impressive. See him back and just how important he is.
Yeah. Well, Hamilton has the ball for, like what Rob Vanstone said in hour 1, like 11 minutes in the fourth quarter, but it's the Riders who scored 20 points, right? Like Hamilton's actually kind of moving the ball. One thing I want to ask you is Alex Hale. Kicking in Saskatchewan. Here we go again. He's missed 2 converts on the season. He's missed 3 field goals. Should Rider fans be worried about kicking again, or no?
No. It's way too early. He's way too young, and he's got a live leg. Like, the ball pops off his foot. I mean, it's going straight up. He's got the distance. He can make all those long kicks if needed. I think we can't be sort of victims of the moment here, and every time there's one little glitch, we go, oh, this is a big problem. It's not a big problem. If he's missing 2 converts a game for 4 or 5, remember we talked about Don Matthews, the late Don Matthews, who used to say, you screw up 1 game, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. You screw up 2, it's becoming a trend, and we're concerned. You screw up 3, you might not get a 4th. So let's let it play out. But I like that he has a real live leg. I mean, the difference between the flight path of the ball between a guy who is solid in, like a veteran kicker, like Brett Lowther, for instance, who's, by the way, I don't think he's missed one this year, but the flight path is much lower out of the gate and then rises, and with Hale it pops off his foot and goes straight up. So that's a good thing, because he's got the strength there, but also because you won't get one blocked. So that was important. And by the way, that interception, long Josh Woods interception for a touchdown, if he doesn't intercept it, Antoine Brooks takes it as well.
Yeah.
There were 5 defenders around him, and Woods and Brooks were 2 of them. And Brooks was cutting underneath that as it was being caught by Josh Woods. And I guarantee you he would have taken that if he hangs on to it, he's gone too. So I'm not sure what Dolegala was thinking. I think they should have gone to Trey Ford at the end of the 3rd quarter and given him the whole 4th quarter. And, I heard you talk to Rob about, should they have gone to,
Trey?
Yeah,
Cone.
Should they have gone to Cone?
There was no real window to do it.
No, there wasn't. It was a weird game that way, and the turnovers and points off turnovers. So I don't think the opportunity was there for Mace to do that. But with a 3-score lead and half of a quarter to go, that's when I think you put in your number 2 and get him some reps.
Did you know that? I didn't know this till I read it today or heard it on the weekend. Coach Mace 5-0 against the Tiger Cats.
Yeah, I think I had that on my chart. I don't know if I got to it or not.
Well, I watched you guys. I was at the Craven Motor Inn watching the game. So
How was Creed?
I thought Creed was really good.
Yeah.
The audio wasn't like totally off, but not like totally wrong. It actually really depended where you were, I think, because I sat close to the right. It wasn't good. I went further back, and it was good. But yeah, no, I don't. It was good. Is you? And if you were listening when we were talking to Rob, I'll pose this to you because I asked Arash too. Are we at the best time ever for Canadian receivers in the CFL?
Yeah, and I heard Rob is such an encyclopedia of the history of the game.
Yeah.
And apparently the history of boxing too, as we were listening to. But yeah, I think you'd have to look at it and sort of pull out all the different guys that were playing, in the 80s and 90s. But this is as good as it's been. I mean, when you're looking at the ratio construction for coaches and how they're using Canadian talent and things like that, and more and more every year we're seeing more skilled players in the skilled positions, not just O linemen, not just D linemen. In the skilled positions, we're seeing more and more Canadians take those spots, and it gives teams a lot of flexibility because now if they need to, they can play 3 or 4 American offensive linemen instead of playing 5, and there's a lot of things that can be said there. Yeah. And I did disagree with one thing that Rob said, which was that we almost don't have to say that they're Canadian anymore, because they're as good. And I've always been saying from, and I guess this is just me waving my Canadian flag, but I think we should be celebrating that they're Canadian. That the best receiver in the league right now is Tyson Philpott, who's Canadian. Now his dad was American and moved up and lived in Canada, and sort of, this is where he had his family, and that's what a lot of American players do. But Tyson Philpott's the best receiver in the league right now, and he's a Canadian. And I think we should be saying that. I think we should be saying he's Canadian, not because we're trying to justify or apologize for the ratio or the Canadian talent. We're saying that the best player, if we're talking about a hockey team, we are proud to say that the leading scorer is Canadian.
Yeah.
Or that great goalie played in Lethbridge or Medicine Hat or wherever. And, so why don't we celebrate the Canadian talent in our league? I'm not sure we should just not say it anymore because they're just as good as the Americans.
It's a good point. You're right at the bottom of the hour. Thursday, we get to reconvene again. We'll see. We'll maybe talk more Rocky. We'll get into the weeds. We'll get into the real weeds on the training and the soundtracks. But no, it's always good. What games do you got this weekend, just so I can start kind of teeing things up?
Yeah, I'm going to be in the East this weekend. So I got Toronto, Hamilton, and then Winnipeg, Ottawa. And today I heard that I think Drew Brown took the number 1 reps for the Bombers, but Zach was in full gear. Okay. So, yeah, because I think a lot of people, and I'm one of them, would love to see Drew Brown start against Ottawa.
You got 5 days. Go find some logs, run up some hills, and take your cleats, because Ottawa could use you. Just
remember the big bag. Remember the big bag of rocks when he had the rope and the big bag of rocks, and he's moving over and he's pulling the.
That's a perfectly sane workout. Who doesn't do that? All right, talk to you Thursday, Suits.
Sounds good. Talk to you later, Barney.
Press coverage of Glen Suitor is brought to you by Freeze Tallman. More than a lumber yard. They have it. They have it all. If you need decking, roofing, siding, windows, doors, delivery available to the cottage or the home in Fort Capel and Regina. Freeze Tallman Lumber. It's a Sports Cage on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
The Midsummer Classic tonight. Major League Baseball All-Star Game goes. World Cup, a little bit of an upset. I said it earlier, maybe a big one, but it's a little bit. Spain over France, 2-0. Argentina, England tomorrow. Winner will take on Spain in the final. Western Canadian Baseball League tonight. Regina home to Brooks. Fort Mac at Moose Jaw. Lethbridge at Saskatoon. Energy Cities and Swift. That's what it says on the website anyway. Ben Meyer of the Regina Pat Canadians. Riley Brown of the Moose Jaw AAA Warriors, along with Pat's prospects Logan Henry and Cruz Nicolay, have been invited to Hockey Canada's National Under-17 Development Camp, taking place next week in Oakville, Ontario. Sports Ticker is for Steelcraft Doors. Locations in Regina, Saskatoon, and Prince Albert, covering all of Saskatchewan. Steelcraft Doors, made in Western Canada for Western Canada. Kurt, did you learn a lot about boxing today, Curtis? Have you ever watched a boxing match? Honest question.
No, I don't pay per view when I don't have a TV. So yeah, I don't watch a lot. The
funniest thing of the day was earlier when you got your new T-shirt for your birthday. Again, happy birthday.
Hey,
you said, I said I should have put it in the wrinkle release in the dryer, and then you says, I don't own an iron, but if somebody's leaving one in the hallway of an apartment, I will go and grab it. Anyone that listens to the show all the time, you know the TV story from
I love stealing. I love taking things. Woo.
Will you watch the Major League All-Star Game tonight?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
I've lately been playing a lot of video games because my brother actually lives in the States, so I like to hang out with him and play some video games in the evening. So
what do you play? Tecmo Bowl? Baseball Stars?
I've been playing a game called TFT. It's like auto chess. You buy the pieces, they play for you. Logical guy, but yeah, I want to hang out with my brother because even though it's my birthday today, it's my brother's birthday tomorrow. So I like to hang out with him, do a little brotherly birthday activities.
Mom used to go buy one cake and just cut it in half.
Yes, because Grandpa's birthday was the 16th, so all three of us got one cake.
Gramps was a cupcake guy. It's the Sports Cage. We got Rob Vanstone from Hour 1 coming up. We're streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com.